Sup, it's Hallie. Welcome back to Aidyn Action Edition. When we last left off, we were finishing up on the mountain. We killed Pt.8, and we are ready to go. Can we open this box without exploding? Yes, we can. Huzzah! Acid! It's still acid. I'm not gonna read the letter. It doesn't change. But hey, I need to get, like, Troubadour back on, because apparently I had this whole thing set up before the stream, and then I guess Troubadour just crashed on its own without me even doing anything. That's pretty sad. But whatever. It happens. It's not the most stable program, apparently. Let's just fire it up. Fire it up. Why you crash, Troubadour? Why are you like this? Also, things are continually booping. I'm unlike the Discord VC and stuff. Everything's a mess. It's all terrible. Let's go. Aidyn. So we gotta get back to Aramon and do a bunch of story events so that we can continue on our way to Talewok. Although wait, no, we're not ready to do that yet. My mistake. There are still a couple things we need to do in Aramon. Controlled chaos. Well, first of all, we're gonna have to fight these wolves, because these wolves always come back. They're a fact of life, these wolves. And they're basically free experience. Why would we not? But anyway, oh gosh, we're all beat up. I guess we did kind of, like, you know, fight Pt.8 and all that. We'll call it a challenge, I guess. But yeah, we need to, like, do, like, the ogre den and stuff. Or should I leave that to Abrakan? Might be worthwhile to leave it to Abrakan, actually. I kind of want to just go and take care of all the new stuff after we've got them.
The moon gym in the cave still, or do we not know all what has and hasn't been changed in this version?
Well, he might have changed it. The moon gem normally appears there, but I don't know if they changed the drop chart the moon gem was on. So, if it's still there, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I honestly, I haven't even read, like, where are the notes that say, like, what are the differences? Like, for you included that in the Reddit for your A+ enhanced edition, right?
Yeah, like, and then, like, the Aidyn data sheet that has all the game's data. I tracked all the changes for the patch and for Plus and the data from the original too, so you can compare. But I have no idea if Action Edition has, like, a change log anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps someday I'll make one for Action Edition, or just tell Lewis to do it, and if he doesn't, then it doesn't happen. It would be kind of a hassle to take that on myself.
Yes, oh, for sure.
Like, I could use the Aidyn editor to...
I went back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I could use the Aidyn editor to find the differences easily enough, but that's an awful lot of data entry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw a Dragon Fang. I still haven't responded back yet, I haven't had a chance. But he's saying you're able to even change, like, spells that enemies can fire, like, use. Like, he was saying he got a bat to successfully fireball him.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were always able to change the spells enemies use. There are very few that they can't, actually. The only ones they really can't are, like, spells that just don't work for whatever reason. Like, there are unused spells that are just not in their AI to use, even if you assign a function to them. And two spells in particular just don't work in this game as intended. Like, Wraith Touch, for whatever reason, it will always crash the game if it's cast by anything but a Wraith. And the Escape spell, it just soft locks after successfully casting. It was supposed to be a thing that, like, lets you flee from battle, but it doesn't. Instead, like, the person who casts it on just fades into it, or fades out of existence, and then the game just sits there.
Yeah, if I remember, I saw that I think in the debug version, and it turns. It looks like the wind spell. Um, oh yeah, but then yeah, like you said, it just soft locks.
So yeah, those two spells are completely
No.
non-functional. But the other unused spells that you can turn into damaging spells, only heroes can really make use of them. But other than that, it's fair game. You can give any spell to any enemy, and as long as they have the wizard skill, they can cast it. If they don't have the wizard skill, or at least in Sheridan's case, this was what happened, they'll just stand there trying to cast it and wasting all their stamina. Oh, and here, this is the other scene where you probably would have gotten the banner. Like here. So, what was that you found in the stronghold before? It's like I haven't seen it in years. Ramsey's banner. See, he like does this animation like he's planting it in the ground. Presumably, this would be where he gives it to you. Blah blah blah. Yada yada. Camping scenes. I just did it to get my health back, but I also knew that was there. And are we good? Are we good on health now? Some people are probably still a little chipped.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked like people were definitely below half on their health. Almost.
We're mostly fine. There, we're good. Let's go fight that cave bear again, because it also respawns, and it deserves to die for that reason alone. Dude, over here. Cave bear. I'll kill you.
If the development team only had maybe a couple more months, maybe 3 months, I mean, they couldn't fix everything, but what is the biggest things you wish would have gotten finished or had a little extra time in the game?
That is a tough one. I'll have to go down some thought. I wish they would have had time to refine the cutscenes a bit more, actually. Because, like, I love the story in this game, but you need so much imagination to make it work, it's kind of sad. And, like, there are a lot of times where the characters just, like, walk in places they're not supposed to, or, like, the camera's focused in places that don't really work. You can tell things just aren't quite going the way they should. Like, heck, whenever you first meet Ardra in Talewok, well, no, it's the second time, whenever she's about to do the healing vision thing. There's a magic animation that she does that, depending on how the conversation flows, you either see or don't. I've only ever seen it whenever I've been, like, mashing through, and I don't know exactly what you need to do to make it appear. But under normal circumstances, the camera will just be resting on Aileron, and you won't see her doing anything. You'll just be like, what is this long, awkward pause? Why is nothing happening? Very buggy cutscenes. So I guess they just had more time to make the presentation better. Ow,
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about, too. It's like a circular green, like poison aura looking thing that she casts. Yeah,
I want to say it was more yellow, but I can't remember. Point is, she's doing like a casting animation, and it's off camera unless something changed in the cutscene by accident. Can I slip past this guy without him attacking me from across the river? I guess we'll find out. He usually gets me. No, not this time. Oh, I didn't turn off the battle music. There, victory.
How are all your other projects going?
All my other projects, they're going okay. This year I'm trying to make more progress on the Aidyn comic, because last year we only got 8 pages done, and that is not acceptable. Not for how long that comic series is going to be. I'm going to try to get one update done a week, but I can't make any promises on that, because it's challenging.
I was gonna say, I usually see way more in the Reddit posts, or if you're posting them too, down in Discord. I didn't see that many.
Yeah, the thing is, like, whenever I finish a series on my channel, I have to make a thumbnail for the playlist, or at least that's what I like to do, and that eats up a lot of my time, a lot of my art time, and that distracts from comics. And it doesn't help when I fall behind on art as well. Everything is terrible, but this year I'm hoping it will be better. And in the meantime, I've got other things going on. The magic mod I talked about last time is going to be on hiatus for a little bit, because I have other game design priorities to worry about. Just kind of have it filed in the back of my mind. One of the things I want to do before I go any further with it is investigate which enemies in this game have which animations. Because, like I told you last time, I discovered that the Salamander and the Manticore have bite animations that are fully functional that you never see in the regular game. But I want to see if other enemies have similar things. So I'm like, basically going through the game and giving them each weapons that use each animation type, and if the animation plays, I'll know they can use it, and if it doesn't, they can't. And like, in a lot of cases, I don't think there's anything to find, really. Like, most enemies seem to have only one or two, and that's it anyway, but there are some suspicious cases, because, like, for example, hobgoblins in the data have missile as one of their skills, but we never see them with missile weapons in here, so I don't know if they have an animation for firing a bow or not. I think it would be kind of awkward if they did, because hobgoblins are kind of bulky monsters, but who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they can fire a bow. Gotta investigate. I already took their gold. If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Oh, no. I was just saying, yeah, that would be good information to know if they can or can't use missile or whatnot. Like, why would they be given that skill? I mean...
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and see if enemies have any other hidden animations. It would probably be faster to just ask Firemaster and see if we can find, like, a database of animations or something. But, I use the limited means I have.
Yeah. Even this cutscene, yeah, kind of... I know you're mashing through it, kind of, but, like, the camera angles are very, yeah...
Awkward. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I don't know anything about, like, the camera mechanics in this game, but it sure seems like sometimes it's just pointed in the wrong place. Like, another instance that really stands out to me is whenever you meet Pandara at the Jundark Gate. There's a point where she, like, tries to fly around you in circles, but it's like she's flying in a triangle and, like, bumping into walls and things. It's awful. It's so bad.
Yeah, if you talk to the gate riddle, but then you don't solve it and you just walk away from it for a second, I think it triggers her to appear, right?
Yeah.
And
if you got the
she
amulet
runs into
before.
a tree. Right.
Mm-hmm. So many things just not working as well as they could be.
So you, M. Los, and then also we have Dragon Fang now. Is Firemaster or anybody else working on modified ROMs of the game?
Not that I'm aware of. Like, I don't think Mdulos is still doing anything with it since Action Edition is finished. Dragon Fang is like our most active modding person at the moment. And, I've referred him to Firemaster because I think those two can really help each other out, but I don't know if that's really going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been able to get in touch with the guy who made the free cam mod yet either. That was definitely fun to play with. And then someone made the Wikipedia page for Aidyn, right? With all the different pages on there.
Yeah.
Did you get your wizard hat or witch's ring from the crate up there in
I
Airmont?
don't think I bothered with that yet, actually. I should probably make sure we get it at some point. I'm just going to go to Aberkin, basically, is what we're doing now. Because he's going to help us kill all the things that spawned back on the path out here. This is his leg of the journey. He gets to help with re-clearing the road to Aramon and things on the road to Talewok.
Oh, got it, got it.
Beacon gets to retire. Much to Amdulos' chagrin, he loves Beacon for some reason.
I mean, I'm not sure if he's changed what skills they can learn, but in the base game, from what I remember, is Beacon can learn Thief. So Thief and Warrior, getting smacked from behind, is way better versus Abercan, who can only learn Warrior, not Thief.
Yep. Beacon is definitely one of the better warriors for that reason alone. Baird is just like later Beacon.
Pretty much.
What's up, guy?
Did we ever, or did you ever ask, I guess, or work with Firemaster, somebody too, about like finding out why Ranger, if you teach somebody Ranger too early in the game, sometimes they'll start losing health randomly?
I assume it's because it's doing like Ranger's skill checks all over the place, but I never understood those in the first place. And it goes away as soon as you've got like a high enough Ranger rank, so whatever the check is, it must be very small. But yeah, anytime you give an early character Ranger, you'll see their health deteriorate as you're exploring. For whatever reason.
Little hole in the ground where the 4 ogres are you're coming up to, does it always have a wizard hat, or can you get something else out of it?
It always has a wizard hat, but I don't think anything else drops out of there, and I can't remember if it's something you can change on the drop chart. I'm pretty sure it is. Like, it's a fixed drop, and that's the only chest that uses that particular item. Where are you going? Is this guy just gonna stand here? Okay, now there he goes. I'm trying not to fight anything, you can probably tell.
Did you buy dragon armor that gives you like really high stealth?
I did not. I probably should have. But it's whatever. I don't even know if the dragon leather still is in this mod. He did a lot with the armors and stuff. The armor I have now restores my physical resistance back to 25, because he took that away from the heroes. Kind of a major difference for the early game.
Oh, so making it more difficult. But hey, everybody you can wear Kendall's hat and whatnot, other things like that, I suppose.
Yeah, there is that. Well, no, I don't want that guy to catch me. Hey, bandits, you wait your turn. We're gonna come back and kill you with Aberkin. Did I save over there? I'm pretty sure I did. If not, oopsies. Yeah, I totally saved over here. I think we're able to lure this guy to the edge of where he can walk. So he stops there. Okay. Or maybe he just keeps going. How far do you go, guy? I need to do a little test. I always forget how far this guy can walk. Okay, so normally he can only walk to there, but apparently his patrol route takes him outside of where he can normally walk. Which is weird. Oh, Aidyn, you quirky thing.
I never tested that before. It's interesting to see. Yeah.
And you just go. Bye! I don't know if any speedrunners employ such tactics, but I would imagine they must, because some of these fights are just so long otherwise. And it's probably not faster just tiptoeing. I want to sneak past this bear.
Yeah, yeah. Does that work with all enemies, or
Most of them.
just specific?
Like, oh, the bear still saw me anyway. Basically, how it goes is every enemy has like a certain range they can walk within, and if you lure them outside of that range, they just stop and stare at you for a couple seconds before returning to their patrol route. But in that time, you can walk past them. But sometimes they have like additional confines that they can't cross, and if there's like a barrier to where they can walk, they will continue walking up against that barrier and they'll never stop to pause. And you will not be able to slip past them in those circumstances. The bear couldn't decide what to do. Bear got wrecked.
Poor bear.
And yet the song was so short it still almost looped. No, don't raise your intelligence. Greetings from the roads to Talewok. Hello, Wrath. Glad you could make it.
Raph has been around with us for a long time too in the Reddit, and then also for the original board game D&D campaign.
Yeah, he was in the D&D thing from the start along with me.
Nice.
Almost going for Beacon. Beacon, don't let him. Look out.
What is your top 3 favorite enemy type?
My top 3 favorite enemy types? Well, let's see. Chaos Lieutenant is at the top because he's just too cool. I'll have to give it a little more thought after that because... I think all of my favorites are pretty much in the Chaos pool. Because the Chaos monsters are, like, really unique as far as Aidyn goes. Like, I appreciate the creativity there as opposed to just, like, the generic fantasy monsters like manticores and stuff. It's like, oh, whoop-de-doo. I think the next 2 down under Lieutenant would be the Chaos Slayers and the Chaos Scouts. Yep, there's my top 3. Oh, we're gonna fight with bats.
Yeah, someone on the Discord said they liked the ogres, but for me, I'm kind of in the same boat. I like all like the chaos minions and stuff because there's no other games with those types of enemies that I've seen. So,
I mean, I appreciate the ogres too. They're, well, I mean, they're ogres, but there is a little, like, there's more room to interpret what ogres are like. Like, Gorgons are pretty standard things and stuff. You don't really see innovation for those kinds of designs, but ogres have more leeway since they're, like, just generic monster humanoid things. And I've never really seen, like, big fat ones like Aidyn does. We're going to fight our first scout right now.
Getting into those little huts, if you go into that building or the building up ahead, that, like, if you angle your camera just right, you can see how they have it. It loads both of the huts, even though you're in one house and it's way farther away than the other one. It's interesting how come, I don't understand how come they made both houses load at once.
I think they'll just all share the same map.
Yet, again, I was holding off until it was finished, and then I don't have the time as of now, but I remember I got killed by a bat on A+ when I first played.
Yeah, that's the typical experience. They're supposed to be glass cannons. Like, lesson 1 in A+ is learn how to space yourself so that the enemies don't get you before you get them.
Which I immediately, like, appreciated, just because I'm going, oh, I can't just run in and do my usual tactic shenanigans that I'm used to doing.
It was also an effort to make giant bats last as more relevant in like the late game. I don't really know if they hold up. Because like at some point they're going to be cannon fodder no matter what, but having like such a ridiculous amount of power and accuracy, you might still want to tiptoe around them even in the mid-game.
Raph says he likes the elemental enemies, which, yes, all the different elementals I think are really cool.
True, yeah.
Just their design.
I like the water one the best out of those, and Earth is second there. The fire and air ones are kind of like just generic genie type things, but they're still pretty cool. Aberkin, there he is. Beacon, I'm taking all your stuff.
But yes, they look cool, but my biggest thing was at the Jundar gate. I used that as a grinding spot for a while, because when I remember going into the desert, if you just keep failing the riddle on purpose, and it keeps launching the 4 elemental fight at you, and so you can just keep killing elementals over and over again for a decent experience. Yeah, you keep using that Banish elemental spell or the wand in the cave. So for me, I'm just like kind of tired of seeing elementals.
Yeah, if you abuse that grinding spot, you will get a lot of experience, but you will kind of get fed up with them. Good place to use banishing, though. Wait, was it the plate mail that gives you that? Yes, okay, you get plate mail. Let's see. What shield swipe everybody using anyway? Let's see, who's got this beast hide buckler? It's basically worthless. Oh yeah, we're all using tower shields. 5, 5 minus 3, 3, 3 minus 2, 4, 4 minus 2. Shield. Yeah, tower shield's just best. Everybody tower shield. We'll see if that ever changes. Oh, and when did we get all these cloaks? I guess we already had them. Alright, I had them using this one for the cutting resistance. We were still taking so much damage from all those cutting weapons, good grief. Acid is still Acid Bolt. Looks like it's unchanged. So Aberkin, what are you best at now? Wow, his skills are so pared down. Well, it seems he's best at sword, so we'll have him sword. Okay, Chaos Sword, is he that strong? No, not quite. His strength is only 20. He needs what? 26? 26 is kind of a tall order. Alright, so that's 83. 75 and 4 is pretty good. Oh, 80 and 4 is even better. There you go. 75 and 4. Alright, looks like he's ready for action.
What weapon is that? Ogre knife.
It's a knife dropped by ogres. They don't actually use it. I think it used to be Tanto, but it's just kind of outclassed by other weapons already, so I just didn't bother. Like 75 and 4, that's not too bad, but the longsword is even more accurate than that. Might be good if you could get it early enough, I guess.
Wait, that's a huge buff then, because 75 and 4, I think Tanto was 70 and 1.
It was, yeah. It was meant to be like a really accurate but weak dagger. I would have to look at the model to be sure. Can't quite recall. Well, that was like one of the shortest fights ever.
Goal. Yeah. Your goal with this run is you want to clear the entire map of everything and use each character at least at some point. Is that correct?
Basically, yeah. Like, clearing the entire map of every encounter is just my standard approach to this game anyway, because like the combat's like the thing I like most about it. But yeah, for this particular run and other ones similar, I will try to include everyone. Ow, that just exploded. That's too bad.
Oh, we can jump down into the voice chat. Because
I was gonna join you guys at PC, but it seems like it has max PC. Yeah, we can do that. Let's go to the wizard school instead. Boop. There, I'm in wizard school. Yes, I'll do that. Run, fix your boyfriend.
Hola.
Hello.
Are you gonna reload and since that chest exploded? Or
I didn't save before it, so no.
In the chest.
I don't know how much progress I'd lose from reloading. That would be bad.
I think it's just gold and probably some regents.
Yeah, that chest isn't anything particularly special as far as I recall. Also, hi, Raph. Long time no hear.
It has been a while.
Not since we were in that DQ campaign for Aidyn.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the mountains with the action edition?
They weren't too terribly different, to be honest. Like, I imagine it would have been a lot more challenging if I didn't grab all the physical resist armor that I did. But, not super different.
I think, what's his name? M. Douglas?
M. Dulos.
Dulos. I think he made some changes to the difficulty after I test ran it. Because it was a lot more challenging than I think it is currently.
Could be. But yeah, like I knew, I figured he didn't really switch up the weapons or anything too much, so I just went in with like the physical resist armor and the cloaks that resist cutting to drop it even more. So I was just like highly resistant to all the regular damage the goblins would do.
Yeah, the equipment I feel like has definitely gotten a big buff in terms of utility. Things that just were not super useful now have a lot more viability in terms of whether or not you should use it.
It is kind of nice having the weapons be a lot more reliable. But I'm mostly used to them being like significantly weaker from my challenge run rules, where I can only use specific weapons at specific times. Like there's a cap on the strength of a weapon I can use until I'm a high enough rank. So it's weird having things go this smoothly.
Oh, you just jinxed it. Now everything's gonna... Never mind.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Gotta make it interesting somehow. Alright, we wiped out the first wave of wolves. Go get 'em, Aberkin. You need practice. Everyone else is fine.
Are you in the new D&D campaign for Aidyn that I saw Chris talking about in the Facebook?
No, I am not part of that.
Yeah, I literally moved to the other side of the world recently for work, so the timing and the schedule I can't do it.
I'm pretty sure he's running the same campaign that we already did, just like now it's sort of like a module that anyone could run theoretically. But I don't really know. I'm all tied up with the Avernus one now anyway, so I don't think I could manage more than one D&D campaign at a time. I know they're not all actually D&D, but it's just that's how they are in my mind. Table's up, it's D&D.
Yeah, I believe he's also charging to play in it. I think he's. I recall seeing like a sign up for that a while back, and I think that was one of the stipulations.
So he's like charging a fee for participation. Well, he's allowed. I mean, it is basically his IP.
Isn't because yeah, you have to pay to use that software that we all were using, the dice roll thing to play.
Roll20?
Roll20? I believe Roll20 is a free program.
Yeah, that's free, but maybe there's like a subscription you can do to get more features or something. Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, I'm sure. So it seems like almost everything has a freemium model, and then buy this for more pretty things.
Pretty much,
Discord,
yeah.
right? Discord Nitro just makes your server and stuff prettier with emojis. I don't know.
I've never been one for bells and whistles.
People love them ever since the first ever DLC thing you can buy. Horse armor, the armor for horses that did nothing, and cosmetics in Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Back in the day, I think was one of the first ones, if not the first one, that people can buy just to look for aesthetics. But people love those microtransactions.
Hey, if they've got the money for them, more power to them, I guess. There are just other things I would rather spend my hard-earned cash on.
Aidyn, but microtransactions. Click here for the new Aidyn Plus skin.
I was literally about to say that too. I was like, oh yeah, you can get up to Talewok first, but if you want to leave Talewok and continue on, then pay for the latest DLC patch. Or something like that.
Buy experience and gold bundles so you don't have to earn it yourself.
Yeah, especially now after playing Aidyn off and on for so many years. I think if that was the case, yeah, trying to speed up gold and EXP farming, it's like, yeah, that'd be something viable for me. If we didn't have things like the in-game cheats, and then you can use like Cheat Engine if you mess around with the hex editor stuff.
Yeah. Pay to unlock Ferris.
No joke.
He looks real good on paper, but then you play around with him and realize his combat skills aren't as because he has no access to wizard, isn't as viable as he thought.
He's a decent fighter, though.
Yeah.
Ow, Direful's hurt. And suddenly everything was terrible. Gonna get fortitude onto her.
That I'm playing
Or endurance, rather. She's too
working
far.
on getting Ferris in the party.
She's too far, I can't cast it. No.
Good luck. How slow he moves, especially if you're not on the emulator to make him move faster. I end up just making him perform since he's got +10 Troubadour and called it good.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the smarter ways to use Ferris, especially in like speed runs. Because then he can at least support the party and I don't have to worry about him backflipping everywhere. But I don't know, maybe his direct damage contribution is more important. Hard to say, I'm not a speedrunner.
Yeah, I think Bard has the fastest movement speed out of all of the characters. He just feels like he runs really fast.
He does. He and Godric have like the same run animation, and they're definitely the fastest on their feet. I've never really compared them directly to Keelan, but she's probably a close second. Yeah, that's more manageable damage.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask too.
Ow!
Is there any way you can tell the difference cosmetically or whatnot? Oh no, Brenna.
She's getting beat up.
The differences between bandit bosses. There's several different iterations of bandit bosses, right?
There are.
Like It's
They
the
all
same
have,
model?
they all use the same model, so the only way you can really tell the difference is like if they're holding different equipment or if their sizes are different, which I'm certain they are varied in size. I just don't know by how much exactly. But yeah, there are just like 9 enemies with that exact same model. 3 bandit bosses,
9
3...
different
Yeah,
brands?
there are 3 variants of bandit boss, there are 3 knight variants of bandit boss, and then there are 3 variants of bandit woodsman. So 9 altogether.
Goblins tend to be very spread out as well, even though they all look the same.
Yeah, I don't think any particular
Interesting.
NPC uses the same model more than the bandit boss thing for bandit woodsman and stuff. Brenna, where'd you go? Oh, she's over there. She's blending in. She's so stealthy.
I was gonna say, playing around with the battle randomizer, sometimes enemies are just like flung up in the sky somewhere, and you can't see them until you take their first turn.
Yeah, sometimes I see them like they have that map fall through glitch that happens to Alaron sometimes. But and then they take their turn, and as soon as they start moving, it just puts them where they want to be.
I nearly got soft locked because of that falling glitch one time on my way into Pt.8, the patch of dirt where those ogres hang out.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you mean.
I think there was an instance, I think, where the map was trying to reload, and it took me up into the sky, and then I just kept falling over and over again. And for a long time, my save was stuck that way. And I somehow managed to save it by doing some shenanigans with pausing my game at certain intervals of him falling, and then it like fixed it.
I never tried to fix it by pausing. Usually the only way I can ever get out of that, or at least in that particular scenario at Pt.8, is if the ogres initiate a combat with you, you might be able to reset the map, so to speak, and they'll put you where you're supposed to be. But yeah, that fall-through glitch is always a mess. It's part of the reason why I always keep a backup save, just in case.
Always a good idea. Always.
Now I'm a couple streams behind, but did you manage to did you go into the ogre cave in the mountains and get the moon gem?
We did not do that yet, but we'll be making our way back there. I wanted to come out here and get Abrakan first, was the thing.
Yeah, so in this version, there, the mod creator made actually a lot of changes to the moon gem. It's now called I think it's called the Gem of Willpower or something like that. I think it's a plus 5 to your willpower.
Nice. I'll have to make sure I get that.
I think you can buy them later on too. A lot of the shops have some really good equipment now.
I'll see if I can afford them. He put those prices pretty
Can
high.
you buy a Dryad shield?
Not from what I've seen so far. But I haven't visited every shop just yet. On my playthrough, I just entered the bog, so I just got out of Talewok. Sorry, not Talewok. Terminor. And there are very good items in Terminor.
Good.
So I'm curious to see what Garriott has.
Yeah, I'll have to pay closer attention to the shops as I'm going through this mod. See what we can get. We do have 16,000 gold already, so that's nothing to shake a stick at.
I find it really funny because when you first enter the cave, the goblin, or not the goblin, but the Mirari caves, and you meet with the traders, one of them sells a bow that does poison damage, and at that point in the game, it's the best bow you can get, but it is so very expensive that by the time you can afford it, it's already pretty bad compared to what you have at that point.
Yeah, he did say he wanted some of those items to be better things you come back for when you revisit Aramon later, but it's hard to make sure things don't just have fallen off by then.
That base game, is it Heartseeker bow that's the best bow, or what is technically the best bow in the base game?
I would say Heartseeker is probably best, but Lightning Bow might outpace it in damage, because I only recently learned just how damage spells work on weapons, and as it turns out, whenever you use a weapon with a spell embedded in it like that, it applies the spell's damage to the attack damage. So, like, I had taken a dagger and given it 0 power, and I swung it at a rat and it did like 2 damage. Then I put the wind spell on the dagger and it did like 15 damage, so it just adds it right on there. And the lightning bow, or the bow of thunder, it has less power than the Heartseeker bow. It's a 4 instead of a 5, but it has the lightning spell in it, so the lightning spell's damage gets added to its attack damage.
You also have the bow of accuracy for a little bit more consistency in your shots, because it has a base accuracy of 100.
There is that, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how powerful you are if you can't hit, but the Heartseeker bow has, like, 55, I want to say, and that's pretty reliable, especially if you've got a high missile rank. Eventually it just stops being an issue. And, like, you have to keep in mind, part of the problem with projectile weapons in this game, especially early on, is that if your damage doesn't break the enemy's AC, it just shows as a miss. It doesn't do zeros. So sometimes it's not that you missed, it's that you just didn't do enough damage on the hit that it still didn't count.
Yeah. I was gonna say, with magic types, that's interesting you said about the dagger did 2 damage until then it did 15 with wind. Do you know what magic type or spell is on the Traherne sword?
It's just a magic damage weapon. It doesn't have an element outside of just being magical, so things that resist magic would take less damage from it. Things that are weak to magic, which I'm not sure anything is, would take more. The main thing is that it doesn't do physical damage, and therefore it can hit ghosts.
Yeah, it's basically a retextured, slightly weaker version of an enchanted blade.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Got it.
In A+, I want to say I gave it the solar aspect, which makes it more effective against trolls, actually. Because I made trolls weak to solar.
Very nice. Speaking of enchanted blades, are you going to go up to the caves here and kill the Gorgon? Or what do they call the lizard ladies?
The Gorgons, yeah. I usually save them for later since they're more challenging, but we'll just have to see. Action Edition is a lot different in many ways. I usually have more trouble with the Harpies out front than I do with the Gorgons, because they're so slow usually. Don't know if he sped them up at all.
The issue I ran into with the Gorgons when dealing with them at first was they hit really hard, and their Frozen Doom can lock you down if you're not careful. But they're glass cannons, so they're they take a lot of damage. So if you can get close to them before they freeze you, you can pretty much manage them.
Alrighty. Good to know.
Wrath, do you know if anyone else is working on modded versions of Aidyn other than Hallie, Dulos, and then Dragonfang now?
I don't. In terms of the modding scene, that's not really my thing. I'm more of a player.
I hope more people.
I don't know the ins and outs of modding.
Yeah, I hope more people pick up the modding once the Aidyn editor becomes more reliable. Because, like, there are a lot more features that can be added to it, and some aspects of it were just plain broken, but now that Dragonfang is fixing it, I'm very hopeful. I plan to coordinate with him a little bit to let him know what features can still be added and such. Because I only gave him, like, the gist on Discord. I'll have to remember myself, because it's hard to keep track of what all those bytes do and which ones we've figured out.
And the editor is based in the 1.0 Grey Cartridge Edition, just like your other mods, right?
I believe so, yeah. I don't think it can use, or it doesn't recognize 1.1. Maybe that's something else you can fix.
Because for me, I like just playing the game. I don't have a strong techie background in this kind of stuff, but the Forest of Illusions, Illusion Forest Edition, or one of the other older builds of the game I tried playing, I couldn't get into the tower because Neeson never shows up, and then it just says the tower's always locked. And I thought, well, if I can mod him into my party somehow, and I tried using the save states, or the save thing where you can just put people in your party at the beginning of the game, but it's too old of a version, I guess, and the bits and bytes are different.
Yeah, I wonder if he just never shows up is the issue. Because you don't actually need Neeson to get in the tower. You just need the cutscene to trigger.
Yeah, you only need the plot flag, but if he never shows up to create the plot flag, that would be an issue.
Yeah, Neeson never shows up, and the survivors of Poem never show up in Terminator. So every time I go there, it just keeps saying the tower's locked, and there's no way for me to get into it. The struggle.
The struggle of the menu. There's like one more.
You guys believe me if I told you that there's at least, from the interviews I've done, 3 people who have other ROM versions of Aidyn that haven't been released yet to the public.
That's wild. I can only imagine how many
know.
different versions there could be.
Yeah.
Like, there are substantial
I don't know
differences
how
between
far
ones we've
along.
seen so far.
Yeah.
Well, I always loved how on box art of the original cartridge game, you could see Aileron standing behind Talewok with the party is not even possible to have, of Neeson, Bard, Arturo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't really get
Same.
Baird and Neeson together.
That's why when I first started learning about, they just cut out a major chunk where you were supposed to be able to get Neeson in Talewok, and everything, and go to Poem and all that stuff. Because I think it was even in the official strategy guidebook, there was a photo of Neeson on Chaos Island talking or something, and I was going, there's no way. That's not a thing.
I know he does appear in Talewok, you just can't recruit him there.
Yeah, just at the inn, but not like with behind a building like Raph was saying, or in a battle on Chaos Island.
Yeah.
Oh, and another mystery. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it would be interesting if our modding capabilities get to the point where we could take characters outside of normal parameters and put them in a party. So you could have a party of characters like Neeson in the beginning, or if you wanted to get real crazy, get like Sheridan or Shamsuck in your party.
I'm sure we can get there eventually. Like, all we would need is to be able to, like, edit events, and then we could, like, create an event that lets you just assemble whatever party at whatever point.
Well, I saw there's a channel, a YouTube channel, the Chronicles of Aidyn, or Aidyn's Chronicle, and the guy, whoever did it, he has like 2 short videos where he changed Aileron's the first character slot into Grandmaster Bowden. Like he's walking around as him. I don't know how he did it, through hex editing or whatnot, but I tried reaching out to him. So I'm going, is that just a one-time thing in the battle? Does it go back after the battle? How does that work? Because I wonder if you can change other character slots yet like that.
Yeah, I don't know about other slots. I don't think we ever quite figured that out. But I did play around with that thing you're describing. I don't know if that channel is run by the person who discovered it, but that information should still be on the Reddit somewhere. Basically, it's something you can do with Game Shark cheats, basically. Like, you change one byte, and it turns Aileron, the battler Aileron you have at the start, into whatever battler you chose. Only problem is, it can make things complicated. Like, whenever you get to the Goblin Poisoner fight at the start of the game, if you're anyone but Aileron, they will take massive damage. Like, I even went in there as Kangara, and she got annihilated by the goblins with their poison darts, because they wouldn't do just a single point of damage to her. Like, something about that fight is customized such that only Aileron takes 1 point of damage from their attacks.
Got it. So it's on the Reddit, you said, and it's a Game Shark cheat. You can like copy paste into the cheat menu, so you can use it whenever.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know that it works whenever though, because like something about how the game keeps track of your party is a little weird, and you can only really reliably change those things at the start of the game. Like, ow. These diagrams are harsh.
I think if we were able to really take this game apart and really get into it, the first thing that should be fixed would be the crashing errors that happen.
That would be nice. That's assuming we can figure out what's causing them, though.
Yeah, so many different bugs. I mean, could be causing it. I think one of the big ones was. I think Viremaster said that it was he read out my bug report. He said something it was about with the weather or something. But I could be wrong. It's been a minute since I remember that. But yeah, what the issues are with the error codes. Could be so many different things with this game.
Yeah, I had my first crash on my playthrough trying to go from Terminor all the way back to Aramon because I wanted to learn Fireball on Alan. And both paths leading to Aramon, I kept getting crash errors. And eventually I had to just kind of weave my way around in a really convoluted way to avoid those triggers.
Even if you were to save and reload the game, not with the save state, but actually in the game, the save and reload, it would still do it.
I don't actually use save states. I use multiple save files in the game engine itself.
I like using both, especially save states right before battle ends to make sure I get the treasure and drops that I want.
I think I've just gotten so used to making multiple save files and using the in-game save engine, just from the years of playing, that I basically mastered the resetting and loading very fast. And especially if you uncap the frames, then it becomes barely a hassle.
Yeah, I know. I basically never use save states anymore. Every time I'm going to save the game, I'll save it, and then I will reload it to make sure it's a stable save, and then I'll save it in the second slot, and then I know everything's fine. And I have never had an issue with saving since, basically.
I think it's just funny how there's a bandit. I don't know if bandit boss or just bandit has a turtle man shield. Bandit boss.
Was he carrying the turtle shell shield? I didn't notice.
Yeah, I think they no longer have the kite. They used to have kite shields and small shields, but now they've been replaced with the turtle shell shield, which I think has also been renamed.
Could be. I don't know that we've encountered it anywhere yet.
I also know that it gives a really big bonus to your stealth skill.
Bit of an odd thing for a shield to do, but I guess it works.
Yeah, interesting.
Actually, Aileron, maybe I should hang back for now. That weakness spell apparently really took it out of us. Yeah, he does have a turtle shell shield. Look at that guy.
Yeah, interesting.
Turtle shell shield is the same name, I think.
Oh, okay. I know some of them got renamed, but I couldn't remember if that one was renamed or not. Oh no, actually, you know what? I'm thinking of the Scorpion Shield. That one, I think, was renamed to Desert Shield, I think. And duos can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
No stealth, or no spell effect. Stealth is +2. Yeah, desert. Fire resist 25%. Oh, okay.
Ooh, that'll be nice for Hellhound fights.
Mm-hmm. Need all the fire resistance you can get against those things. So let's see, where do we want to take Africa next? I feel like we should go back Ogre Cave done.
Stealth is +2 because you can hide as a turtle. I get it.
Oh, good grief. That's such a goofy reason, but I accept it. I didn't mean to go this way in the menu.
With our current capabilities, can we change what enemies, mobs will spawn and respawn out in the world, or no?
That I don't know. If it's within our abilities, it hasn't been discovered yet.
Oh, the Desert Shield is 25%. So, yeah, when do you get that part in the game? Because you can fight Hellhounds, I think, right outside Aramon. There's one single mob up there on the cliff, no?
I don't know about
I was gonna say, not Aramon.
Spirit Wolf up there. I think the soonest that you can see a Hellhound is in the Gemstone's Tower.
Yeah, that's usually the first place I encounter them. But if you wander down into, like, the valley near the Jundar Desert, you can find some out there.
I'm sorry. I think it was later on. I saw hellhounds there when I camped. When you camp.
When you
and get
camped?
ambushed. Yeah.
You know, I have not really tested all the camp ambushes because usually I have some of those parties that I ranger scout. They never really get ambushed, but you know that is, I have been ambushed in the Dryad Woods before and had like a giant boar and an ogre attack me. So I know that like different areas will have like different enemies in them, but that's interesting that you saw a hellhound over there because being in a snowy mountain location, you'd think that's the last place to find a fiery dog.
Right.
Although you do find some in like the dragon's lair.
That
they
is
came
a
from there.
fair assessment.
Yeah, one of these times I'll have to do like a no rangers run and just see what I can find by camping. I remember, Spikes, you said one time you encountered like villagers in a combat encounter near the barrow from being ambushed.
Yeah, I think that was on the 1.0 edition when I was doing something, and yeah, I was using the battle randomizer, and yeah, I thought it was in the desert area, and I was like, oh, it's Hiderman coming to come after me, or one of the angry merchants or something. But anytime that it was his turn, it just crashed the game, so I never got to see him in actual battle, but I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, I have a screenshot of it. Yeah.
Speaking of the Hiderman, I recently encountered a secret cutscene with him on the path to Aramon, and then not the initial one where he tells you where to go, but there was a I left and I came back, and it was a completely new interaction with him, and I was like, oh, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, if you encounter him more than once, he'll say something different because you've already met him. It's technically the same encounter, just a plot flag has caused it to be different.
Yeah, this game amazes me with how long I've played it. I always find with every playthrough I find something new.
Some of what the devs tell me, like that guy specifically, supposedly there was supposed to be a third and final scene of him getting swallowed up in the swamp or the desert sands somewhere, trying to guide you again, and I'm going, no, the last time I ever remember seeing Hiderman was just that second initial encounter right outside the entrance of the bog, and then he gives you false directions to Terminator, and I never saw him after that. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no, that's
My
the last
headcanon
place I
is
ever
that-
see him.
Yeah, my headcanon is that when you take 2 steps to the left of them, there's a Chaos Scout there. He got axed by the Scout.
Sometimes if you walk up
Yeah,
to him
that
there
would
and
make
talk
no
to him, the
sense.
scout will run up and wait patiently for your conversation to end.
Yeah.
Well, those Chaos Scouts have manners. At least the Chaos, yeah, they got manners.
I remember having 2 bandit bosses walk up to me as I was talking to a Mirari on the road to Aramon. I was just like, oh, great.
Oh. This is one of those respawning encounters, right? The bear.
Not this one. There are bears that respawn, but this is not one of them.
Really? I thought you already killed this bear earlier in the stream.
No, we ran past him.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
The bear you're thinking of, the bear we killed was further up the lake, and the one nearby is a cave bear that respawns. It was just a regular bear we killed earlier.
Got it.
Oh, but Spike, to answer your question from earlier about the Scorpion shield, I believe you can get the materials for that as early as Talewok. 'Cause there's a shop I believe that sells scorpion skin.
Whether you're able to craft it at that point is
okay.
another story.
Yeah. Who has a high enough mechanic? Does Keelan have? I forgot what her mechanic is. Her skill is.
Don't know. I don't think Keelan has mechanic. That's like the one thing Brenna has over Keelan. Keelan doesn't do mechanic initially.
Oh, I thought they were like the exact same. Keelan was just like higher stats.
Nah, Keelan just has like way higher thief. Should we go to the ogres now?
with
They're
the
right
rope,
here.
She can go get the Mace
Not
of
that far.
Glory like right away.
The windmill shop in Talewok sells the chitin plates. Yeah, there you go. That's where you can get them. But yeah, the armor recipes for materials are available to us, and I'm pretty sure we can change the ranks of what's required to craft them too. Like you can tell it what armor to make and what level of is required for mechanic to get it done. But there's kind of not much point because you can't like add or subtract armors to the whole thing. So it's like, unless you wanted it to make an armor with a different icon, there would be no reason to redirect it.
So you could change skill levels then, like for what it takes to craft alchemy potions and stuff like that too?
You certainly can. In fact, I did that in A+. You can even make it such that you require ranks higher than 10 to craft the potions. And if you have like equipment items that put your alchemy over 10, it would unlock those potions for you.
Oh.
That'd be a really interesting way to put in like god potions, where it's like, if you want to be able to use that kind of stuff.
Now, if only we could actually change the effects of potions. Although arguably some of them are broken enough to warrant that anyway. I walked
in the
Amber
debug
can take
version of the
close.
game, there are a couple potions that don't have, like you can't read the descriptions without crashing the game. And I wonder if there was going to be uses like that for different types of potions that they just never got around to finishing.
Well, I know I've run into several equipment that boost your alchemy skill. I think I ran into a belt or some gloves or something like that. I don't remember specifically, but yeah, I don't have Godric in my party anymore, and my Alaron only has, I think, a level 3 skill in alchemy, so I've been going this whole game without being able to craft curing potions.
That's kind of a bummer. Curing potions are really good.
Ouch.
I thought so too at first, but then I've acquired so many curing potions just naturally that I didn't even need it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that usually depends on like what enemies drop them. I usually get a big pile of curing potions and stuff whenever I'm done with the road to Port Said, because I'm pretty sure it's like a guaranteed drop from Bandit Boss, or like high enough rate that you're basically guaranteed to get it.
Yeah, well, and the healer skill kind of, if you use it effectively, reduces the amount of potions you use anyway.
Yeah, healer is busted.
Just so long as you have enough herbs.
Well, and herbs...
You don't even need herbs to make healer work. Lay on hands. It's free. Yeah, I'm waiting for these ogres to come to me, and they're just not. Oh, they're going after Elrond. Oh wait, no, Rada. Everyone has tower shields, I can't tell who's who anymore.
Yeah, I remember in your original playthrough, you went on about how bad tower shields are, and now they're,
Well, they're still pretty bad, I'm
dominating
just
now.
not so scared of the drop from their decks anymore. Now that I understand how the dex works.
ironically, funnily enough, Chaos Shields are no longer the best shield in the game.
Oh yeah? Which one replaces them at the top?
I haven't acquired every shield yet, so I don't know which is the top one, but right now, playing out, just having gotten back from Chaos Isle and getting ready to...
Oh, the old heater shield is the best,
okay.
Dulos says.
Interesting.
I was gonna say Sheridan's shield, but not Sheridan's. Then why is the heater shield better, or the night shield?
Even Sheridan's shield was never the best shield.
Yeah, that's the one I'm using on most of my party members, is the Night Shield. That one, it's pretty good.
These guys are messing me up.
But my favorite of the shields is the Sun Shield. I just really like its design.
It is a very cool shield.
Sadly, it, in terms of its effects and defensive stats, it's very mediocre.
Modding can fix that. Hehe.
I always thought, because I never knew what Resist Solar did in the base game, so I always thought it meant like fire effects would be reduced, which I feel like would have been a better effect for it.
Yeah, I was explaining to Spike last stream about what Solar Resist actually does, and it's basically just a damage type. If an attack had Solar as its element, you would take less damage from it, but nothing does. So it's literally a useless bonus.
What about Lunar? Because I know there's also the Lunar Shield.
Same thing. It's the exact same idea. If any attacks did lunar damage, it would be resistant to them, but no attacks do. The impression I got was that they meant for it to be like any attack from an enemy of that aspect would count as that, but it clearly isn't, because like I tested it against enemies that were solar, and like it never reduced the damage that I took from them. Dulos is spouting off about stuff. Let's see. Sheridan's is the real shield. You can buy it earlier in shops. Jundar shield is 5/5 -4 and gives magic resist 25%. The magic resist 25% is that enough to make Jundar better than Knights despite the 2-point defense and protection difference. Well, it makes it better for magic enemies. You take less damage from damaging spells. I don't know if this guy will keep his axe out. Usually, enemies with projectiles will just be like, I've gotten away from the heroes, I will now switch to my projectile, but every once in a while I see ogre bosses just defy that logic and they're like, nah, I'ma chop ya.
Will magic resist help lower damage from any magic spell cast against you, like
Absolutely.
even fireball or lightning?
Yep, it does. All forms of magic damage
like,
are reduced. That's why it's one of the best.
What about trap spells, though? Like, will it have a chance of, will it help me resist spells? Like, if someone were to try and cast Starlight Shield or Frozen Doom on the person with it?
Nah, only the versus spells and, like, willpower spells do that. Or, not willpower spells, but, like, willpower reductions.
Yeah, that's why I thought the Moon Gem was really good, because it gives a +5 bonus to your willpower. And it just takes up a wand slot, which, you know, I don't really use that often anyway.
This guy is giving me more trouble than I thought he would. But then he is an ogre boss. I'm kind of fine with him being a mini-boss, just ouch.
The Action Edition, yeah, he said a lot of stuff is appearance-based.
Additive changes in Action Edition are appearance-based. The items have stats that align with what they might intuitively suggest. That makes sense. I'm gonna let him walk. Walk faster, guy.
How much damage does acid and immolation do at your current rank?
I want to say the damage never changes. It only affects the duration of the spell and like whether you're likely to be successful casting it or not. But I can't remember how much damage they do. It's like 1d12 or something. That's why it always varies.
I never bothered learning them because I never thought that it was worth using, because in the time it would take for it to do a lot of damage, I feel like I could just off them normally.
Sometimes it's worthwhile. Like if you cast them on an enemy that you're not focusing on right now, you can like let them cook for a little bit, and then when you get around to them, they'll be weakened.
Halron's already level 11. What was your highest level did you guys ever get to with your party at the end?
I don't usually get
the
much
max
higher
is
than
30.
No, the max is 40, but I don't usually get much higher than that because their experience requirements get very large.
Yeah, I was gonna say I messed around with the Game Shark codes for the 1.0 edition, and yeah, I saw it was 40, but yeah, same as Hallie said, is I don't think I ever got above or around 30.
Yeah, which honestly I don't even think you need to even go past that.
Not nearly, no. I don't know if enemies can be higher levels than that. It's kind of something I want to experiment with, because, like, these restrictions that apply to heroes typically don't apply to enemies. You can see them with stats much higher than theirs can go naturally. So I wouldn't be surprised if enemies could actually go to level 50 or whatever you want to set it to. And it might be worth doing, because, like, I tried to balance it out in A+, such that, the monsters would remain threatening by being like a consistently higher level than you, or at least keeping up with you in level. And even 10 levels below, they were still like... no, I'm sorry. When the monsters are like 5 to 10 levels above you, you can still just dunk on them because your heroes just get so strong.
Well, and don't the levels, doesn't it just only affect your hit points?
It doesn't, because I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's definitely a factor in the equations, because one time I decided to try and set a giant rat to level 40 to see what would happen, and level 1 Aileron could not hit that level 40 rat to save his life. All his attacks missed. Uh-oh, Troubadour's having a fit. Here, hold on. I'm just gonna close it, so it's like...
So there must be some sort of like hidden values then that it affects. Because I know it doesn't affect your base stats, or at least not the visible ones, other than your hit points.
I'm gonna refresh Troubadour, because it's having a problem. Doo-doo. Sorry, what did you say? I was focused on my music program.
No, I was just commenting how there must be a hidden value then that affects the power of a character based on their level, because it doesn't affect any of your visible stats other than your HP.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably a factor in the formulas for calculating stat checks and stuff. Like the higher level, the easier everything. And OBS disconnected. Hold on. Was it me disconnecting? No, I'm still in there. Whoop whoop. Dude. Okay. I don't know if anyone can hear me or
The
anything.
stream's working again, I can see it.
Computer hiccups. Such fun.
Must be the internet gods playing with us.
It very well could be. I'm stuck in a place where Comcast is my only option, and Comcast is not a good internet service provider. Like, their download speeds are fine, but their upload speeds are so bad that they won't advertise them, and you won't find out what their upload speed is until you're like on the last page of their sign-up program thing. Not that I have a choice, because like I said, it's the only internet I can get here. And the laptop I'm running this on has no way of connecting directly with like an Ethernet cable or whatever, so I'm stuck with whatever Comcast can give me in that regard. I'm honestly surprised they don't have more trouble streaming. Because, like, one of the issues I've been running into...
Are there any other versions of Minotaurs, or is it just Minotaurs and Minotaur Lords?
No, just Minotaurs and Minotaur Lords. They're the only two types.
I think it's just the two. I mean, you have obviously higher levels of them, but I don't think there's any variants.
Oh, okay. Same with like the lizard men or the other. Well, there's one more, but then for some reason we were able to get 2 lizard kings.
Yeah, I encountered that for the first time the other day. I encountered the first lizard king where you talked to him in the bog, and then as I exited Elishava's tomb, there was a lizard king that ambushed me, and I was like, oh, that's surprising. Because I've only ever encountered one before.
It's just basically like a Mace of Glory, but without the magic stuff, right?
Are you talking about the Lizard King axe?
Yeah. Is it, I have to pull up the stats again.
It's a pretty
But I don't
strong
think it's a
weapon, but it
magic
looks
item,
so
right?
boring.
I think it technically is, because I think it grants like a +5 to endurance or something like that. But I don't recall it being all that super powerful.
Can Hallie confirm?
You can do worse for hafted weapons. I don't remember exactly what its specs are.
Maybe his microphone's not working.
No one can hear me? Oh no! Lay crap. Alright, hold on. What's going on here? I'm gonna exit the room, and I'm gonna re-enter it. Boop. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yay!
We were asking, can you confirm or deny, is the Lizard King axe a magic weapon or not?
I don't think it is a magic weapon. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't have an element.
Got it.
And Doulos is the one who can't hear me now. Say what?
Oh.
See, this is the bear that respawns. This is the one you were thinking of.
Yes. Okay. When you walked around the bandits initially, you showed me that you can pull them out of bounds. Or their little walk path. Cave bear. Okay.
Cave bear.
I used to watch the Berenstein Bears.
I used to read the Berenstein Bears. I was very, very young.
Berenstein or Berenstein?
I don't know.
Berenstein.
We ended up on a different timeline at some point. Still not hear him? Can I
I
rejoin?
can hear
What?
him.
Is there nothing coming through on my stream end? Because there should be.
I can hear you just fine.
Is the stream still going? It just doesn't say there's any issues on this stream, at least not on the YouTube end. I don't know what's happening. I'm not tech savvy.
Yeah,
I'll assume
I
everything's
turned
fine and
on
just
the
keep
stream
going.
again. Yeah. I can hear you on both.
Good! Alright, what do you bet the odds are of this thing exploding? It's a moderately dangerous trap. I've had it blow up on before.
50-50.
50-50. It
Oh.
either happens or it doesn't. Exactly. It's going to join the PC in your place. Oh. There it goes!
You
Stupid
can jump
chest.
down. That was another one that doesn't have a whole lot of too much good stuff in it, though, right?
It's 1,000 gold. I probably shouldn't even bother,
Oh,
really.
1,000 gold. Oh, doesn't have a mic.
Doesn't have a mic. Well, then why would you enter a voice chat? You can't communicate anyway.
I think that the idea was he was going to try and lock you out.
Oh, to keep me from re-entering. What a jerk. You know, I think we'll leave this just for later. If it's gonna be like this. Gotta level up my mechanic, apparently. We'll just kill the bear again. Someday. Did you know that sometimes there's a harpy over here, and if you kill a goblin way out that way instead, it disappears?
Oh, I was wondering about that because I've noticed that happen, and I was very confused as to why it didn't spawn, and then sometimes in other playthroughs it would.
Yep, if you go there first, you'll find it. And if you kill those goblins, it's the goblin on like the hillside where the boar is wandering around. But yeah, if you kill that goblin encounter, it makes that harpy disappear. Very bizarre.
Mm.
Oh, hey guy, don't ignore me.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that before.
Don't ask me how I ever figured that out, it happens. This fight we're in right now, actually, is another such encounter. If you kill the minotaurs across the path from here, this encounter will disappear. But I usually go for this encounter because bandits have better stuff than minotaurs.
Interesting. Oh, so the minotaurs are going to disappear now after this fight.
Yes! I will show you. We saw them earlier in the stream and we evaded them. I never got Brenna's spells.
Bandits give more experience, right?
Probably. At the very least, they're likely to have better stuff, so I'm not really super concerned about the experience. If I want experience, I'll go fight wolves behind Talewok. The wizard school.
Yeah, I've yet to find a better place to farm than the school. The spirit wolves. I mean,
As long as you can take the
depending
spirit
on
wolves,
the
they're
size
pretty
of the
nasty.
party- Yeah, but depending on the size of the party that you can get anywhere from like 1,200 or 12,000 XP.
Yeah, they are worth a lot.
Pretty good.
I think the dire wolves beef up that number too, and there are usually a lot of dire wolves there.
When you initially started this fight, you just ran in straight forward with the bandit guy staring at you when you started the fight. But if you have the opportunity, isn't it better to stealth and kind of creep up behind them and then hit the execute button? Will it not change the way everybody's placed? Or does it really not make that much of a difference?
Well, you saw whenever we started this fight that we were kind of up on the hillside and they were down in the valley. As far as I can tell, that is the ideal circumstance for the start of the fight because it gives you access to the high ground and they have to come up after you. But I think the only way it determines that is based on who started the fight and like what orientation Aileron was in on the world map when it happened. Because like if Aileron starts the fight by pressing the action button, it gives you like the best circumstances just by default because you caught the enemy by surprise as far as it knows. But if you can see them, or if Aileron is like facing the direction they're coming from on the map, it'll be like neutral, and if he's like facing away from them or trying to sneak, then they'll get the advantage instead.
Sometimes you can manipulate their movement by messing around with the camera if they don't immediately initiate.
That's true, yeah. I've never really experimented with that, but you can make them walk off in all kinds of crazy directions.
Oh, on like kind of how you did for this originally, is they kind of like got off their path. And they just walked
No, not
around
quite.
the-
Like, what I did earlier to sneak past this encounter was within their normal parameters of behavior. What he's talking about is like, it's kind of hard to describe, but like, depending on how you orient the camera, sometimes they'll just keep walking and get off track from their patrol routes. I don't really know what causes it, but it's very strange.
Interesting. And there's no loss of letting enemies flee, right? You still get the same experience no matter what.
Yeah, you see, get the same experience, same drops. I've seen the singular bat fights where the bat ran away, and I still got, like, the beast hide drop from it. So yeah, whether you kill them or they run away, you get the same stuff. Although that is something I think I would change if I could. Like maybe you get partial experience and none of the drops if they escape.
More realistic that way too.
I should think so.
I guess, yeah, that would give you incentives to go after and kill everything too.
Yeah, I would show the Minotaur, but I gotta kill this ogre first.
Which encounter disappeared now that you killed the bandits there?
I'll show you in just a sec. Basically, it's the Minotaur that was running around over in that general area. But this ogre is here. I gotta kill the ogre.
Oh, okay.
Just this one ogre? Okay, guy. Let's air shield in case he gets us.
Better safe than sorry, right?
We've seen how hard they hit even with it, so I'll probably need to look into upgrading my air shield or maybe invest in another kind of shield spell. Then again, it's not that big of a deal, probably.
Do wands of starlight? Did you get any wands of starlight in the Aramon Mountains?
I don't know if they're still selling it, but it was probably really expensive when I just didn't bother. Come on over. Come a little closer.
But now you're loaded. You got lots of money.
Until I buy one and then I'm broke again.
Drop some of the shield spells. Because I think I've gotten Spirit Shield a couple times from Hobgoblins.
Ooh. Must be a rare drop. I didn't see it. Or if I did, I didn't notice. No, he's too far away. Alright, ogre's free.
So you would say using the troubadour perform, it is worth it. It does enough that it makes it viable to have one person. Like for me, I would always have Ferris just perform just because I thought, oh, it'll do something.
I don't know if I would say it's viable. I assume it does upwards of nothing, but you could certainly get by without it. Like I said, most of the time when I'm using Troubadour, it's like I've already wiped out the initial 4 enemies, and I'm trying to discourage the reinforcements from sticking around. And I can't tell if it actually affects that at all, or if they're already just so demoralized by the first 4 enemies and leader, therefore being killed, that they just leave anyway. But yeah, sometimes it's nice to just have somebody singing so you don't have to run them across the battlefield along with everyone else.
Yeah, especially if you have somebody really slow like Ferris.
Absolutely.
I'd probably like to have at least 1 or 2 ranged characters in my party so I don't have to trek them across the whole map.
There's the bear I was looking for. Anybody need healed? I guess a little bit.
Beacon and Aber can become really good candidates to learn the healer skill because they don't have a whole lot of skills that you need to focus on.
Absolutely, yeah. They're the kind of people you want to just dump your other skills onto so you can let your wizards focus on magic. I'd still kind of prefer to have other people learn magic anyway, but it's whatever. Magic is just such an invaluable thing.
I wish there was a way to unlearn certain spells because, like, I find it kind of annoying when you're going through your spell list and it's just like with Alaron, there's just this long list of all kinds of different stuff, and you're just like, what do I want to use?
Yeah, I try to avoid teaching him things that I don't intend to invest in fully, because, like, there are so many spells, and if there's something you've taught him that you think you're not going to be using for the whole adventure, just don't even bother. His list gets so long so easily.
Well, and I've done that too, where it's like, I'll teach him something like, because at the time it seemed like a good idea. Like, I'll give him like the wind spell, because they're like, oh, maybe I'll use this against a certain enemy type or something like that. And maybe like, yeah, I'm just gonna dragon flames him.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the direct damage spells are like that. There's just elements aren't enough of a factor for it to really matter if you bring certain ones. Like, there's no reason to invest in Earth Smite, just get Fireball.
Oh yeah. What was the one scroll you get? Dispel Necromancy? Or Dispel something?
You mean in, like, the castle at the start?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Dispel Necro there.
Really no use for it. Oh, is it Necro?
It is. It's Necro,
Yeah, actually,
and it's actually really good to teach that to Alaron, because he's the only one who's not affected by Wall of Bones. At least in vanilla. You can change that through modding.
Yeah, that would be helpful if you in the Lich fight in the Barrows. And whoever else, yeah, uses Wall of Bones.
The Liches generally use Frozen Dew. Wall of Bones usually comes from bandit bosses and Chaos Lieutenants.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Some of the Chaos Wizards also have Wall of Bones. It's a surprisingly prevalent spell. But yeah, I think Lugosh might actually have Wall of Bones too. I can't remember. Lugosh is usually such a non-issue.
He's just so squishy that he never gets to use it.
Yeah, it's like the fight's over in 2 hits, as long as you've got Loden's sword.
Yeah, I feel like that's one thing about that fight that could have changed it. Probably should have had a little bit better defenses, just to make him so like a boss.
His defeat is kind of more of a story thing. I certainly beefed him up in A+, along with all the other barrel weights. Like, on the one hand, I could understand why they made them pushovers, because, like, there are 7 of them, and it's kind of tedious getting through them all if they are difficult, but on the other hand, bosses.
More content.
More content. I want, like, Hog Wild Wisdom and A+.
Imagine if you could build this game from the ground up and just make them Dark Souls bosses.
Oh, wow.
I'd have made it such that when you fight Lugosh, he resurrects them all and you have to fight all 8 of them.
Yeah.
Imagine if the original devs had twice as much memory to work with. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Chris did say Baldur's Gate 3 is basically like what he envisioned this game could have been.
Yeah.
I
feel like there's a lot of games that, had they been given the resources and time to really polish, could have really been big titles. But
fell into the wayside because development and pushing too early just kind of kills the game.
But I mean, now we have a game that there's nothing really like it. Like, I always thought, like, what if there was a remake to Aidyn Chronicles now? Like, what would that look like? Would that be on N64 hardware? Because it's already kind of getting pushed to the max as is. So, like, would it look like the Final Fantasy VII remakes, where all four of your characters are kind of moving around at the same time doing a thing, or Baldur's Gate, or...
It would probably be like that, the FF7 remake, because they just don't make games like this anymore. Like, in a way, I was kind of surprised that Baldur's Gate took off as well as it did, because it is a similar game using similar systems, but still not quite the same. And like, turn-based just doesn't seem to be as popular, but who knows, maybe there's still a market out there for it, and they just don't tap it because they know action things are usually more popular. They do what's safe instead of what's innovative, you know?
Oh, for sure. Same, like we were saying about the Dark Souls games. Now that you know they're going to keep going with the more open world ended stuff with Elden Ring and whatnot. So, because it's safe and, the big mass popularity of people will like it. And they'll probably, From Software will never make the older versions of the games again that they made before Kingsfield, before Dark Souls, the first person version, because why do first person when you can do Souls game that sells really well?
Yeah.
Well, and there's also the whole thing with the Sony possibly acquiring them, and whether or not Sony will allow them to follow that same formula.
Is that a thing? Did they finalize the sell, or is it just? I heard about them thinking about acquiring.
Yeah. So, based on what I understand on that situation, is that there is a Japanese company that was looking to buy their mother company, which I think is Katakala. And they basically reached out to Sony to asking if they would purchase them because in their eyes it's the lesser of two evils, because the other company apparently has a very bad reputation.
Got it. And that's kind of what it seems like nowadays with all companies. Buy up the small ones, make them mega companies.
Big fish eat little fish.
I mean, here we are. Disney owns Star Wars.
Yeah, really. And they've ruined it, basically.
I heard a rumor that Disney tried to acquire Nintendo at one point.
I don't know anything about that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Although being a youngin' and the first time I played the first Kingdom Hearts game blew my mind with Final Fantasy and Disney characters. Wow.
I will never understand how that crossover was ever approved. It's quite remarkable. Like, usually they're so protective of their IPs and such.
Yeah, you would think, something like that would never happen.
Yet, Sony was able to relinquish their stranglehold on Spider-Man for the crossover movies with Marvel.
True.
I suppose if there's enough money in it, they'll do basically anything.
I know there's a lot of modding capabilities, and I mean, I have a list of different things I want to see done for Aidyn in its current state. but or a full-blown remake. Like, what would you guys want to see? Do you want to see it in the N64-ish graphics engine, or would you want a full-blown like remake in Unreal Engine and like a Baldur's Gate or an FF remake?
I would like
if I were to
to. Oh.
compare it to anything, oh sorry, I was just gonna say, if I were to compare it to anything, probably something like the Skyrim modded community. How I don't know if you've seen like Sky Oblivion or something like that. That's kind of how I always imagined what Aidyn could have been. It's more like how Skyrim kind of does their stuff.
Personally, I would like to see it get a major graphical overhaul, but I wouldn't like to see it end up just like every other generic, hyper-realistic fantasy game out there. Because, like, I tend to like things that are more stylized, and I've always kind of had cartoonish tastes. I wouldn't want it to be, like, super cartoony or something, but, like, there's a balance you can strike there between hyper-realism and, like, style that I think would do the game pretty well. Maybe something along the lines of, like, the actual Dragon Quest games are. Maybe a little less anime or a little less cartoony than that, but I think that would be cool to see.
I haven't looked into the Sky Oblivion or Skyrim mod deal. Yeah, I like both ideas. For me, I just want to be able to like what the community is able to do with the fully decompiled Zelda games on the Nintendo, and create my own full-blown maps or enemies, and like continue and finish the story, like finish everything like going to Poem or something like that, and then having like your own like another island, a DLC or something you can go to, or
or even like an expansion where you actually deal with the threat of Rabasat.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure that such a thing would be realistic unless they found a way to go to the Chaos Plane, because Rabsat's definitely the kind of person who sends her minions to do her work. She's not going to be on the front lines unless you put her there.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even just being able to expand the world of Aidyn,
These boars, man. I know they're giant boars, and sheesh.
Like, I imagine, like, if we could have taken Chris's map from the Dragon Quest campaign, and if we could incorporate that into the map of Aidyn, that would be a much larger game.
It really would. Although I would have to dispute his placement of Poem, because, like, he put it on, like, the coast. Like, I don't see why the people of Poem would flee to Terminor if they lived on the coast. And I'm not talking about the west coast either.
Yeah, well, it was a mining town, so it would be more in the mountains, you'd think.
That's kind of what I figured. Like, it's probably nestled up there in the mountains, somewhere between the swamp and the hills. But that didn't really work for the story it was trying to tell, so I can't really blame him. It's not like we have any actual canon information about where Poem is, just an idea of where it would likely be.
In that storyboard design document that's on the Discord now, I saw it was supposed to be. It looks like they were going to put it on the other side of the swamp, which is odd because I agree it should be kind of maybe between the swamp and the mountains as a mining town, because if it's on the opposite side of the swamp, you're saying near the coast, then wouldn't you think that people would have fled to Talewok versus Terminor seems further away?
Or even Guernia would be closer to there, specifically. But we also don't know at what point in the development of the story that those decisions were made.
Yeah. Would you guys want like different characters, playable characters to put in your party, like being able to have a Mirari or something like that.
I absolutely would. In fact, within like the text documents of the game, you can find an unused event where Traherne would have been a recruitable character.
Yeah, there's multiple NPC characters that have like unique portraits to them that I feel like could have been party members.
There's definitely room to expand the roster of heroes, and particularly for a game where like permadeath is a thing and actually pretty easy to have happen to you. Like 14 is, it's not a lot of characters when you can lose them so easily.
But the permadeath thing was an accident.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, like they never got those sapphire gems working, so they had a revival system planned. So maybe they didn't think they needed as many heroes as they ended up.
I mean, I think it kind of worked though in some respects because it's like when you have a permadeath system, you get more attached to characters because you know that there's high stakes if you don't take care of them.
True, but at the same time, you're more likely to just reload a failed battle and try again.
Depending on how long ago it was you saved.
Yeah, but I mean, even if there was a revive system, what's stopping you wasting those resources versus just reloading the fight?
Mm-hmm.
Rat fleas. They're solar normally or lunar?
Now that you said it, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure giant bats are lunar. I don't know about giant rats. They're so weak that their aspect escapes me. I think they might be solar.
The little tomb rat mob scared me when I first... You're first going up to Aramon. There's that one mob.
The one we just killed.
Giant tomb rat. Yeah.
I think the whites design in this game always unsettled me the most.
Whites are pretty creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives me like if the ring race you could see their face.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So, Hallie, how are you using... I don't think I asked about the screen recording deal, because there's always black bars around Aidyn, and then are you using a separate program that's allowing you to show the kill-death counters on the sides?
Yeah, those are elements in OBS. Like, the game window doesn't take up the whole screen of OBS, so I can fit some stuff down the sides of it.
Ah, okay.
OBS is really a fantastic program. I'm kind of astonished that it's still free.
Yeah, I've been using OBS before. I had Fraps. It was the free version of Fraps, I think.
Super easy to use, yes. There's a reason it has become like the quintessential streaming program.
I've dabbled in a bunch of the streaming apps. I've used the Twitch one. I've used Streamlabs OBS and OBS, just regular OBS. And I wish that I had more opportunity to really like do that kind of stuff. I'd love to be able to stream games and do let's plays and that kind of stuff, but
It doesn't
Just
take
don't
too
have
much.
the,
Streaming console games is a lot more complicated, and I couldn't help you there. Everything I play is on, like, my laptop I bought a couple years ago, and it's pretty outdated at this point, but I mean, it still gets the job done. But if I wanted to play something more
Yeah.
complicated, I would need a better setup.
Yeah, I got a I'd gotten a real cheap capture card, and tried to hook that up, and I got it working for a little bit, and then OBS just decided that it did not like that capture card anymore and just refused to work with it.
Hmm. Strange.
That sucks. There's no, yeah, they didn't push like an update, or can you roll back, downgrade the version of OBS to make it work again or something?
I don't know if it's an OBS thing or if it's just a settings thing, but I could never figure it out. It was I find that I still have trouble navigating OBS to some degree.
You never know when an update's just gonna break things somehow. Like back in the day, whenever I first started doing this, I had like a super responsive mute key. I could like press the mute key and I would know that I was muted while it was pressed, and when it wasn't pressed, it wasn't muting. But then after some random update of OBS, it would like cut off like the first second or so of audio from before I pressed the mute key, and that was super obnoxious. So now every time I'm doing it, I have to like time it ever so slightly off kilter from wherever I was making the noise that I wanted to mute. Very, very irritating. And it's been like that ever since.
Oh, I was getting, so it's never been fixed or changed back.
Nope, not to my knowledge. Don't know what about it broke in the first place, really. And for all I know, it's just a me thing. Because, like, well, I mean, it's almost certainly not just a me thing, but, like, my laptop has its quirks. And things that are problems for it don't seem to be problems for others, so... who knows? All these level ups. Look at us go. I am sitting on so much experience right now. I'm just like... what should I do with it? I should probably spend
Are
it
you
on
waiting
something.
to go to trainers?
I think I want to get higher wizard ranks before I go dumping all of this into dexterity. Let's hit up some trainers in Aramon while we're here.
I was gonna say, you said you weren't sure if you went up and got the box for the witch's ring wizard hat in Aramon.
Yeah, I don't think we did that yet. I should probably upgrade my mechanic as well. I just don't remember who does what in this town. I just realized we've been streaming for much longer than we should. I need to wrap this up.
I think Amdulos made both the wizard hat and the witch ring available in shops, so it's less of a necessity to try and grab it.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, it is past 9. I didn't even realize that. Or not 9, but 2 hours into the stream.
Yep. We'll wrap it up, and we'll pick up with this next time. Thanks for joining me in the voice chat. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, it kind of felt like an official Aidyn podcast.
Yeah.
As if this game needed such a thing. But yeah, that is going to do it for now. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time with more Aidyn Action Edition. Let's see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.